We've been keeping a close eye on the red tide events. It was more prevalent down south of us in the Fort Myers area because we were expecting it to move further up the coast. We were receiving birds further from the south affected by red tide, but now that it's here, we've started receiving them over the last month or so. It really depends on the species. All species are affected differently, and we see them at different stages. Sometimes with the smaller shorebirds, we'll have a mass event where all of them were affected at once and they all start to drop at one time. With cormorants and larger birds like pelicans, they kind of trickle in as they go along. But our goal is really to get these birds as quickly as possible, to treat them and get the toxin out of their system and return them back to the areas that are not affected by red tide. About half of the pelicans that you see behind me were affected by red tide, and all of the cormorants in here. So we have about 40 red tide birds that are currently here that we're just waiting for the conditions to improve to release. So you'll see a good example of how you might find them on the beach. So they're unable to stand, their balance is, not the greatest. This guy's looking a lot brighter this morning, but sometimes they'll not even be able to pick their head up. So I was pretty much born and raised here in Florida, and so red tide is, a very common thing that we see every year. This year is the worst that I have ever seen it. I'm really shocked that it has continued this long, especially its impact on marine life, like the marine mammals and the sea turtles, manatees. So this is definitely the worst that I have ever seen it. I think that there is a lot to learn from this particular event, and I'm hopeful by how much the community is interested in it. The county is being very proactive in cleaning up, and the FWC especially doing all of their research in the Audubon. So I think that this is really going to be a learning experience for everyone. And once we've really quantified exactly why this event is the way that it is, how the birds are being affected, I think in future years we'll be able to actually combat it before it gets this bad.